Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe for multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines, and many other sectors.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand the closing action on the D Street. Well, it's turned out to be a fantastic day of trade, the best beginning that one could have in a week that is now looking ahead at the interim budget. 398 points higher on the Nifty. It's 21,751. We're also looking at the Sensex up about 1,200 points in trade. The Nifty Bank is up by 624 points. A very, very sharp surge coming in. Almost 2% of an uptick coming in on the benchmark indices. 1.5% uptick for the Nifty Bank. Even the broader markets, the mid and the small caps are rallying very, very sharply, about 1.6% higher in trade for these two indices as well. It's an across the board buying that you're looking at. Sectors, all of them are doing well, barring the FMCG. In fact, all of them have now turned green. 5% higher for the oil and gas index, 2.5% uptick for the PSU banking index. You have the autos in a faster lane, 1.7% up in trade. Consumer durables, mid caps, financial services, you name it, all the sectors are up and about. Look at the top movers today. It's Reliance Industries. That's the top mover in the F&O action. 7% higher, record high levels, 29.50 now coming in on Reliance Industries, followed by ONGC. That's up by almost 7% again. We also have Adani Enterprises and the Adani and Adani pack that's moving in trade. You have the power majors, Power Grid, NTPC, Coal India, Power Financiers, REC, PFC that are the flavor of the season. Of course, the big bang heavyweight banking names that have so far been big laggards that are trying to support the markets in today's trade. So be it HDFC Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank, Axis, all of them are pulling up the indices as well. Let's now welcome our guests on the show. Ruchit Jain, lead research analyst at 5 Paisa, joins in. Also with us is Amit Goel, co-founder of Pace Group. Welcome to both of you. Good afternoon and thanks a lot for taking the time out. Let me kickstart by a discussion with you, Mr. Goel, and tell us, what do you make of the current move in the markets? Because so far we've been looking at a very rocky, a very volatile January. What does it have to do with it? I mean, is it a pre-budget rally that you're looking at, or would you say that this rally has more political flavor to it?
Yeah, hi Sakshi, thanks for having me on. So I think there are multiple factors which are the triggers behind this rally. So one is, and I think that's probably the most important one, you've got the monthly futures expiry that happened on Thursday, and then you were headed for a long weekend. So because of the fact that in the last monthly futures expiry, a lot of stocks actually sold off, they had become overbought. A lot of those positions were actually liquidated towards the closing of the monthly expiry, which was of course on 25th of January, Thursday. And a lot of people preferred not to roll over their positions because the market was also headed for a long weekend and the market was rather iffy for the last few days heading into the monthly expiry. So my sense is that there is a sense of relief in the market that the monthly expiry is over. Lot of long positions which had got created, it got liquidated. Plus we are now coming out of a long weekend. US markets are also doing well. And last but not the least, of course, there is excitement and buzz around the interim budget. And my expectation is that in the next few days, the markets will continue to do well in the run up to the budget. And plus, usually when a new monthly expiry starts, then usually the first 1 week is on an average more robust than the second or the third or the fourth week.
Yeah.
So a lot of factors which are contributing to this rally, and we can expect a more of technical strength running into the interim budget.
Okay. Ruchit, of course, I will ask you on the Nifty and the Nifty Bank, but right now it's all the stocks that are hogging the limelight. So let me kickstart by asking you on Reliance Industries, the big bang move that's come about, 7.1% higher in trade at a record high level currently. What's behind this sudden move in Reliance Industries because the stock was in a hibernation mode, for a fairly long time. What's behind this sudden move and the next targets on Reliance now?
Yes, hi, very good afternoon, Sakshi. So if you look at the stock no, positionally, then after the demerger from Geo, we had already demerger of Geo Finance, we had already seen a corrective phase where the stock corrected from 2600 levels to around 2200 levels. Now, post that, along with the market up move, the stock has been forming high top, high bottom structure, and it was already in an uptrend. So usually, whenever such structure is there, where technically high top, high bottom structures are there, the declines are generally seen as a buying opportunities. And during last week when we saw the dip, the earlier breakout level of the 2600, 2640 acted as a support. So I think that's why we had seen some fresh buying interest coming in Reliance Industries over there. Now, today, if we look at the volumes, no, not only today's session, in fact, last few days, when the price up moves are there, the volumes are good, but during the corrective phase, we have not seen any kind of high volume back sell off. So the structure itself is quite positive. So I think even if you look at the option segment, the 2800 call writers, I think they had took a square of their positions, and even now 2900 call writers. In case if the stock shows a follow-up move tomorrow, then we may see further unwinding by this call writers. So this should continue this momentum on the high side. I think 3000 would be the initial level where no one could expect. And if we take out retracements of the previous corrections, then that gives a positional target somewhere around 3150. So clearly the trend remains positive, and being one of the heavyweight where we can see the leadership coming in, I think any existing long positions one should continue to ride this trend.
Okay. Okay. So that's as far as Reliance Industries is concerned. Amit, to you now, where do you see more value emerge in this kind of a market setup? Are there any top 2 or 3 themes that you're bullish on right now, or 2 or 3 sectors that you're betting big on, which are now set for another leg of a run up?
So Sakshi, we are a macro top-down player, and we normally look at the market from a slightly different perspective compared to our micro bottoms-up peers. So at the moment, I would want to say that the markets are actually quite overvalued, and particularly in the small cap and mid cap side of things, we are seeing valuation levels beyond our comfort zone completely. Even on the large caps, while of course the uh, valuations are lower than the small cap and mid cap, but we do not see much upsides because we believe the markets are priced for perfection at this stage. So my suspicion is that the markets, while in the near term they may remain range bound, and we are probably not going to see a huge fall or also a huge rise. We may become sideways for some time, but over a longish period of time, we expect the markets to come down. And my sense is that before the end of this year, we are probably going to see a 20% odd correction from the January highs, January or the February highs that we are going to make this month or next month. You can expect a 20% kind of correction before the end of this year. So,
Okay.
us, it basically now boils down to valuations. So, most of these sectors, which are, let's say, the coveted sectors, something to do with defense, something to do with the manufacturing, there the valuations are even higher than the rest of the market. So, those are the sectors we are probably not going to touch with a barge pole. But on the other hand, there are some areas where there is still some sanity in terms of valuations. And I can point out PSU banks as one such area where where some of the best quality PSU banks like SBI and all, they are still pretty much within a valuation comfort zone for a value investor like us. So I think PSU banks is a place where we want to focus our energies on. Then even in the PSU space, there are still some stocks like PFC and REC and Coal India which have come up a lot from their bottom. But fact of the matter is that there also the valuations are pretty reasonable if you compare them with some of the other PSUs like let's say BML or BHAL or the other defense and rail stocks. those are the stocks that we would not want to touch at this stage because they are really, really red hot. So I think between PSU banks, some of the low valuation PSU stocks and some of the homegrown FMCG stocks. For example, Dabur is something that we are somewhat more favorably inclined towards. So I think there are still pockets of reasonable valuation in the market, but I would think that that part of the market is probably less than 10 to 15% of the overall market universe. Most of the market is today beyond the valuation comfort zone. So we would rather be slow on that side of things. Rather, we would take advantage of any further upsides to actually take money off the table.
Okay, Ruchit, the next stock that's surging very, very sharply is the stocks from the energy basket, be it ONGC or be it even Coal India. 2% higher in trade right now at 413. What's behind this kind of a move? Its 6 months returns have soared to over 80% now for Coal India. This kind of a performance is rarely seen for this slow mover, but it has stunned everybody over the last 6 months to 1 year. How would you look at Coal India and what's next for the stock?
So the broader trend, for most of the PSU names, we have seen that these stocks have done quite well over last few months, and this is just a continuation of the trend that we are witnessing. Now, any kind of corrections that we have witnessed off late are more of a time-wise correction rather than price-wise corrections, which is a good sign. I believe that Coal India till it is about 360, the trend could continue on the higher side. So if any existing long positions are there, they should continue to ride this trend. Even ONGC, I think recently after this news flows, we have seen a renewed buying interest in the stock. Earlier, the stock used to react more on the crude oil prices, but of late we have seen even a correction in the crude oil prices have not led to any kind of negativity in the stock. So the kind of up move that we have seen in last 1.5 months, the stock has short-term potential to go towards 265, which is the targets as per retracement levels. And I think over a longer period of time, is one is looking from at least 6 months or more perspective, then one can expect even levels of 300 and beyond in ONGC. So this is a buy and dip stock that we would recommend. In case if we get any kind of dips again in the stock, such declines should be used as a good buying opportunity for the portfolio in ONGC.
Okay, any particular one or two stocks that Ruchit you have watched out for in trade today? This fantastic move down, the Nifty is even poised to move higher, 405 points up, 21,756.
So I think infrastructure is one theme where we believe that in the short to medium term, one can expect a good amount of outperformance. Whether you take some large cap stocks such as L&T or mid cap names such as IRB Infra, NCC, all these stocks have witnessed very massive volume in today's trading session. So I think that kind of outperformance which we have seen today, this is just indication of continuation of the trend, and we are expecting a decent amount of outperformance from the infra stocks. So L&T within the large cap stock still looks good, although the stock has already seen a recent run up, but still no signs of reversals even during the corrective phase in last 1 week, where we witnessed market corrected from the highs. This stock from the large cap space continued its outperformance. So those stocks which have been outperforming during corrective times, I think those stocks will continue to stand out going ahead. So L&T, I think one can expect positional targets around 4,000. Even at current levels, I would advise to go long on keeping stop loss below 3,600 in the stock for targets around 4,000. And no other from the mid cap space, NCC is one stock which is looking quite positive. Again, similar structure which I told about that. Most of these mid cap infra names have also seen very robust volumes today. So NCC, one can look for buying over here as well. A bit of positional perspective, one should keep on with stop below 192 and expect targets around 230.
Okay. Amit, what do you make of the move that we are seeing in the energy basket, especially stocks like ONGC in trade today? And of course, we've been also looking at OMC players come back in flavor after a long haul. How would you look at this entire basket?
I would attribute this to basically rotation and nothing really significantly beyond that. And see, the crude oil prices have been looking up over the last few days. And if I look at WTI and Brent, both have gone up by about $5 to $6 from their lows of last week. So there is actually very little which is positive for the OMCs at this stage. We are running into the election season. So in case crude oil prices go up a lot further, you can expect some sort of government pressure on the OMCs to not take up the prices of petrol and diesel proportionately to the crude oil prices. So actually, if I look at the macro backdrop, then I don't see anything significantly positive as far as the OMCs are concerned at this stage of things. So I would attribute the move in OMCs to a sector rotation, and plus, of course, the fact that they were under the weather for the last couple of weeks, and they had come down from their January peaks. So I think it's a good old sector rotation. It's a good old relief rallies coming into them in this new expiry that has started. As far as is concerned, obviously that gains from the rise in petrol, diesel, and crude oil prices, and plus, of course, ONGC was rather undervalued compared to the rest of the PSU space or compared to the rest of the market. Whether it is OMCs or stocks like ONGC, they are rather undervalued. So you can say that there is a bit of catch-up buying also happening in these stocks and in these sectors, because there are other PSU stocks which are right now so rich in valuation that the investors are a little uncomfortable putting in too much money there. So investors are looking for those PSU stocks which have not gone up so much, or where the valuations are yet not out of the comfort zone. And in that context, your stocks like OMCs, ONGC, Coal India, PSU banks, they are a sweet spot. So my understanding is that that's the only reason why they are going up. And plus, of course, a bit of a tailwind as far as ONGC is concerned because of the recent run up in crude oil prices.
Rujit, to you now. Tell us, what do you think is happening with the Adani Group? Of course, a lot of earnings factor there as well. Adani Enterprises, Adani Ports, be it Adani Energy Solutions, the entire pack is moving with strong momentum today. Any particular stocks where you can look at chasing the momentum?
So one thing is quite sure, markets does not like uncertainties. We have seen a lot of volatility in the stock over last 1.5 year. Last 1 year, especially post that Hindenburg episode. But when recently, much more clarity came on the stock post that Supreme Court verdict. So, investors have definitely seen a good buying interest in the stock. Where again we have seen the price up moves getting supported by high volumes. Any kind of declines are getting bought into. So I think this clearly shows that since the uncertainty is behind us, so the downside in the stocks now seems to be very limited. But yes, these are high beta names, so one should expect a bit higher volatility to continue in these names. But if I do some relative analysis or comparative analysis of stocks within the sector, then two stocks, that is Adani Ports and Adani Power. These are two stocks that stood out by outperforming within the group even during the corrective phase, and these two were the first names which registered all-time high compared to its previous high. So I think this outperformance clearly shows that Adani Ports and Adani Power both have more strength than other stocks within the group. So overall, if I look at the other stocks in the group too, I think the stock specific up move is likely to continue going ahead, but outperformance is expected to continue, or rather I would say the risk reward ratio would become more favorable in Adani Ports and Adani Power rather than other names.
Okay, just about 2 minutes to go, and it's turning out to be a fantastic day of trade. You can see a 405-point jump on the Nifty, 21,758, and it's a broad-based rally that we are looking at. Ruchit, where do you see the markets headed? We are looking ahead into the interim budget 2 days or 2 sessions from now. Would you think that this rally has enough power to sustain, during the budget week and even beyond?
So as of now, it seems that we should head higher towards at least 21,900 to 22,000. I think that will be crucial levels to watch out for, whether it manages to give a firm close above 22,000 or not. We have seen that today's up move have been supported by heavyweights such as Reliance Industries, ONGC, which are there. So still there are no signs of any kind of resumption of the down move that we have seen during last week. So I think 21,900 to 22,000, that will be the crucial range to watch out whether markets are able to sustain above that or not.
Okay, fair enough. All right, any particular stocks that you'd want to advise for tomorrow, Rujit?
So I think from cash segment, one can look at Gujarat Pipavav Port. So this is one stock which looks quite positive technically. High top, high bottom structure. Today's volumes are much better than the average. Recent swing highs around 170. If the stock manages to surpass this tomorrow, so then I think we should get a good amount of up move in 1 day or two itself. So GPBL one can look to preempt some quantity over here, and on a breakout above 171, one can look to add further over there for potential targets around 182 to 184 in the short term.
Okay, fair enough. Well, thanks a lot, Ruchit, and thanks a lot, Amit, for being with us on this show and helping us with your insights as well. The markets are shutting shop, and we're just about 30 seconds away from the closing levels. It's panned out to be a day of trade where the heavyweights, as well as the broader market stocks, the mid and the small caps, have all, supported the sentiments. Nifty ends with 1.8% gains, 387 points higher at 21,740. The Nifty Bank is up 1.4%, 631 points of gains, 45,497 for the Nifty Bank today. The broader markets, the mid and the small caps, end with gains of 1.5% each as well. And of course, sectorally, the action was pretty positive with all the sectors, barring just about very, very tiny losses seen on the media and the FMCG space. Rest of the sectors have all managed to eke out gains today. Of course, on the Nifty, the top gainer was ONGC today, 8.8% higher. RIL followed, 6.8% higher. Coal India, 6.3% up. Adani Enterprises, 5.8% higher. Adani Ports, 4.2% higher. Tata Motors, Hero Moto, BPCL, the other big movers on the Nifty index. On the laggards front, what did not do well? About 7-8 stocks that actually did not participate in the strong move in trade today. Cipla was 2% down. ITC ahead of its numbers, 1.5% down. Infosys, LTI Mindtree, Bajaj Auto. These are the top on the drag factors as far as the markets are concerned. On the Nifty 500 basket, you had Infibeam Avenues, a very strong move coming in on that one, 19.3% higher. IRB Infra followed, 19.9% higher in trade. Again, upper circuit for this one. Castrol, Amber Enterprises, Delivery, Coal India, Indian Overseas Bank, some of those very big movers in the Nifty 500 space as well. It turns out to be a day that has given us hopes that perhaps we could be looking at some strong days ahead, and the bulls may not have left the ground just as yet. With that, we wrap up this special trade, but do stay with us on Business Today TV as action follows even after this, and everything that is related to business and stock markets. This is the destination that you need to be on.
Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe from multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines and many other sectors.
Celebrate 32 years of leadership in business news with Business Today. From the groundbreaking AI cover of Sundar Pichai to PM Modi's exclusive on G20, we redefine headlines. Now our 32nd anniversary issue explores India 2029, the 5-year agenda with industry titans sharing exclusive insights. So, just BT it for unparalleled perspectives. Business Today. 32 years of leadership, innovation and business brilliance. Subscribe now. In today's rapidly evolving business environment, when risk is omnipresent, managing risks is no longer just about ticking a few boxes. Businesses need to maintain a panoramic view of risks to stay ahead of the curve. Join us to explore how organizations can rethink risk to unlock new possibilities and become fit for future. At PwC presents De-Risking the Future in collaboration with Business Today.